hit sensation across the nation with an up-and-coming star. You see me riding every day, I'm never too far. It's just musical car.
Hey, welcome to Jeff's Musical Car. This week with guitar virtuoso Jesse Cook.
Jeff!
Whoa!
Jeff! Easy,
And
Jeff.
I'm going to try to get you back to the Capitol safe and sound,
Oh my god.
as I promised.
Jeff, I don't have my safety belt on.
Oh no,
I'm not wearing my safety belt.
we'll have to tone it down a bit
I
here.
know. Don't tell the police.
Yeah,
If you're watching the police, I do have it on. See?
yeah, it's on.
Okay.
It's those invisible edited out belts.
Yeah. It's CG. It's right here.
Yeah, let's chat about music a bit. One World, your latest release. I had a chance to listen to it. It's really great, and it's kind of funny because I read a quote from you saying that it's really not about taking you to a different place, which initially I thought, but what you mentioned actually makes a lot of sense. Can you explain about how you really wanted people to think about it?
Yeah, well, I think on previous records, usually it was about the trip. So on my album Nomad, I went to Cairo and recorded with musicians there, or I went to Madrid and worked with Monsi Cortez there. And it was all about, the trip, going there, working with musicians from other parts of the world, and coming back and making an album. Whereas on One World, I stayed home, and it really became about not one country, but just sort of pulling the focus back to the point where you can kind of see elements of all countries, that I mean, the great thing about living in a country like Canada, is that it's an immigrant culture. There are people from all over the world and musicians from all over the world, and you don't actually have to really leave in order to represent the world in your music. And also I wanted to cover different time periods. So there's modern elements like electronica and drum loops and things like that, but there's also the Armenian duduk, which is one of the oldest instruments on the planet. It's like 3,000 years people have been playing this instrument, and they still play it today. So all those things are kind of swirling around and passing through this sort of one CD. And for me, it's really an expression of that idea that music is the universal language.
Being an instrumentalist, it really it shows people that you can take an instrument and have decades and centuries of people playing it, and there's always people coming up with new things, figuring out new ways to play it. Like that's so awesome.
Well, the guitar, came out of the oud, which turned into the lute and turned into the guitar, and and obviously the way they played it in Spain, where it was invented, is completely different from the way they played it in the United States. When people started doing the blues with it, and then eventually, rock and roll, or, everybody sort of took it to their own place. Obviously my influence is more Spanish, sort of taking it, but it's not classical Spanish. It's more, gypsy Spanish, the flamenco music, and what I'm taking is elements of flamenco, the techniques, the sounds, the Andalusian cadence, and then playing with that, messing up the rules and trying to, change it and make something new.
And in fact, I also read you were messing around with your 7-year-old in the home studio, just playing around. That's another way you can kind of get a different point of view. And
I wasn't messing around. He was messing around. I was, freaking out, thinking, oh God, he's going to blow up my studio. But, like most kids, he wanted to get on the computer, right? Like kids, iPad, anything with a screen, they want it. And he kept saying, oh, let me try. And I'd say, no, this isn't a recording studio. You can't play with this computer. And finally, I just relented. He wore me down, and he started messing around with my whole system, and I had to leave the room. It was like, I can't watch. I can't watch this. So I went off somewhere else, and I was practicing. And when I came back, he had some screen I'd never seen before open on the computer, and I was like, "What's that?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. I pressed this button, it popped up." And he'd sort of found his way within the program that I was using to this whole kind of loop center, and he was dragging loops onto the arrange page, and he wasn't really doing very musical things with it, but just the very fact that he even found it and was kind of playing with it in a way that I hadn't, just kind of thought, I think that's the other thing, is that often computer technology keeps evolving, but even a program, like I started working with a program called Logic Audio when it first came out in, 93 or 94, like really early on. and the program keeps evolving. So the things that I knew how to do with it back then, now it does a billion other things, and it takes a 7-year-old to actually realize that that's what's going on. Because you kind of get used to going where you normally go, and sometimes you need somebody else to kind of go, hey, look at this road, wide open.
Tech and training.
Yeah. So there we go.
So okay, so I want to hear some music. So which one are you gonna do for me?
You know what? I'm not even gonna play a track because the record is something I would need to bang.
Yeah, lots of layers.
I'm just gonna noodle around, and you can use what you want from it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm gonna play. We'll call it "Ode to Your Car" in E minor.
How's that? I love that.
Yeah.
I was starting to get zoned out for a second.
I know. It was a bit of a melancholy song in the old car. I don't know. I could play other things. We could try this. That's a short one.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. How long do you want me to play?
Give me one more.
All right.
I know you got to get back to the show, so
that's all right.
I don't want this done.
No. So what can I play? I'll just screw around in this key, see what happens. I've never played in a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
It's hard because the car is moving. You're like, my fingers are moving.
Yeah, especially your style. That's awesome. So
that's all right.
I'm gonna show you guys One World. This is the latest album. Jesse Cook, you definitely got to see him live. And that's it for this episode of Jesse Musical Car. You want to take me out with an extra song?